New York City in the late 19th century was a time of excitement, discovery, and great excess at the highest levels of society. This is all captured in Julian Fellowes' hit HBO series The Gilded Age, which portrays old money families whose positions are challenged by new money robber barons. This dynamic is embodied in the show by George and Bertha Russell. He is a railroad tycoon and she is a social climber, determined to cement her status by, among other things, creating a new opera house after being denied a box at the Old Money Academy of Music. Take a look.
She's a thief. Mrs. Astor has taken my Duke of Buckingham.
Some people would say you took him for Mrs. Winterton.
Mrs. Winterton drapes herself with her husband's old money when she was pressing my underwear a year ago. She has no need of dukes.
The fact remains he's been passed around like an old shoe.
I'm serious, George. He says he's afraid his plans for the opening night have changed.
He knew it was coming. Haven't you got your committee today? Will you tell them?
No, and nor will you.
Won't Mrs. Astor trumpet it abroad?
Then we must trumpet louder.
And that is actor Morgan Spector along with co-star Carrie Coon. Carrie, kind enough to join us now. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
So your character is basically on the surface fighting over opera houses, but there's really a lot more to it. There's there.
Yes, there is there. You know, Mrs. Astor's 400, the original 400 families that helped establish New York City, they were the old money families. And in the time of the Industrial Revolution, all of these, you say robber barons, we say captains of industry. They were the ones who were making incredible amounts of money as they were building up the factory system, the railroads, steel mills. And they really wanted entree into society. And Mrs. Astor was very fiercely protecting those, that social space. And it was a woman's responsibility at the time to make sure that her children were well matched. And so because Bertha can't be a senator or a CEO, her purview is society. And her job is to make sure that her daughter marries well and that her social rise stays in parallel with her husband's industrial rise.
It seems like at that time, men had the final say in the marriage. But what we see with you and your husband, it seems like it's more reflective of what we might see in this modern day age.
Everyone wants to be respected in their marriage, and it is unusual that George respects his wife's ambitions and that they are working in concert. Even when they're having difficulties personally, they still maintain their focus on that goal, which is their rise, their lust for power, essentially.
The production design, the costumes are really fascinating, extraordinary. Just talk to us about that costuming process.
Oh, Kasia Wallach-Mamon is a genius, and she's, you know, every detail you see has been poured over. And when you go in for a fitting, she has these astonishing boards where she's pulled research, she's pulled couture, she's pulled historical images, and every choice she makes is justified in her research. And yet, I think she also excels at taking characters like Bertha and even pushing the fashion a little bit forward, even for the eye of a contemporary audience.
How do you describe Bertha? I mean, I know that she has been categorized as ruthless, but there is also some love there.
Well, she's, you know, everything she's doing for her children. Now, people may disagree with the way she's going about it. She knows the world is set up in such a way that her son will be fine. She's still going to control who he marries, but he's going to be fine. He's a young white man with lots of money. Her daughter is not exhibiting the same kind of drive or discernment as Bertha has. And so she knows that the world is not set up for her daughter and that she has to make sure that Gladys lands on her feet and that the generational wealth they're accumulating is safe.
While this is fictitious, there are also some storylines here that are rooted in history. The building of the Brooklyn Bridge, electricity being introduced to the city. But then you also have this really burgeoning African-American society. How significant is that?
Oh, I mean, doesn't everyone want to be able to see themselves on these kinds of shows? And we have not seen this particular milieu depicted with any detail. And of course, there were tremendous thriving African-American communities that were middle and upper class. And of course, we also know that in New York City, some of them were razed and demolished to make room for other city facilities, the Central Park, for example. And so I love that we've been able to show Peggy as a middle to upper class young woman, the fashion that she gets to wear, it's incredible. That party at the end of the last episode where you got to see all of those beautiful African-American faces in those gorgeous dresses. It's my favorite part of the show.
We are coming up to the season finale of season 2. Anything you can give us just a little taste?
Well, I think we could say, if you were a betting man, you should always bet on Bertha because she always wins.
Okay.
The capitalists always win. They have crushing amounts of wealth.
Carrie, thank you so much for coming on. Really a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We want to let our viewers know you can catch the season finale of The Gilded Age this Sunday on HBO or streaming on Max.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.